Hey, howdy, hey, everybody. It's me, the Real LCS Analyst, the Wildzee, and we're going to continue our tier listing of the LCS teams and their players. Uh, just a quick little checkup. Make sure to tune in tomorrow so that way you can see the podcast with me and the other lead content producer that I lined up with. And let's go ahead and let's get into rating our junglers. So as you can see, so this way my Alzheimer's brain doesn't have to work so hard. I have all of my junglers down here, and we're just going to go ahead and get into it. So for our number 10, it is going to be Spica. So I think Spica's like just genuinely just terrible at this point. Like I think he's just a purely coin flip player. Like look at his stats. I mean, yeah, he's got some good gold differential at 15, but he's always behind in CS. He's always like behind in XP. And it just feels like the reason for that isn't because, like, oh, he's got bad pathing, which he does, or he's, like, not seeing what he should be doing, which he doesn't. But the reason is that he's just a super coin flip player. I mean, look, he's only ahead in a third of his games, which I think is kind of crazy if you're supposed to be the jungler for TSM. So, what do I mean he's, like... I mean, I think, you know, he's just running down games. Let's look at the most recent examples. So, in this game, between FlyQuest... Let's just look at what we have here. TSM is currently all in this bush, okay? Because of this ward right here, which is a pretty common ward to watch for invades, FlyQuest knows that they're all here. They also know because Bjergsen put his ball right here for vision. Okay, so FlyQuest is actually setting up to prepare against this invade. So let's just watch what Spica does here. So the whole team's going in this way, right? They're all pretty much posturing this way. Again, they all know that they're here. Spica is just running straight in for the bush, when he should be letting Treats go in first. He's still running in the bush. He's in the bush right now. He's in the bush right now. He walked into the bush. He sees Ignar here. Why is he not running away? Why is he not wiggling out? Why is he not? Because what you do here as a real jungler, you'd go, you'd wiggle. You'd wiggle in and out. He's seen Ignar for like a while now at this point. Why is he still running in? The rest of his team's leaving. The rest of his team saw. The rest of his team clearly saw this. He's still going in to the end. So the rest of the team has to run back to try and help. And then by that time, it's just too late. So that's just in. I don't think you can call that anything else except like intentional feeding. Because he should have either been wiggling, or he shouldn't have went for this play, or he should have just ran away. I think a big part of the reason that TSM looks like this lost child team is because of Spica. I mean, let's watch here. Alright, so this is a matchup where Broken Blade versus Someday. Broken Blade gets a good matchup. He gets to play the Jace. You know, life is good for my friend Broken Blade. You know, he's actually winning the matchup into Someday, which is nice, because, I mean, that's what you want to be doing as Jace. They don't know that Olaf is here. He now knows Olaf is here. So let's ask ourselves a quick question here. If you're Spica, where are you going to go? Ideally, so you don't know where Realm is, but ideally you'd run back this way, or you'd run up here. You wouldn't go in, right? Like you'd go back, because at this point in the game, Contracts beats you, right? Especially since mid has prio and top has prio. So ideally, you just want to run away. I think the best way to go if you're trying to avoid Ryoma is you go up and back into your blue jungle. He eased through Contracts, and then instead of posturing here to go over the wall, he postures here to go for Krugs, and I guess he's going for an execute, but now he's shooting Krugs, and now he's throwing up a thumbs up, which is like, dude, what are you thumbs upping? What's funny? What's the funny hee hee ha ha? He makes this giant misplay, And then now, for the rest of the game, in a matchup that was supposed to be Broken Blade favored, and was Broken Blade favored, now Someday just has a lead. And he just has this lead for the whole entire game. And I remember the analysts after the game, they were like, Broken Blade played so bad he was behind the whole game. It's like, no, you idiots. He wasn't behind the whole game. He was ahead until his jungler decided to feed a kill. So because Spica's just been running it down, I can't put him any higher than 10th. You know, he's had some good performances, but it's too coin flip for me to put him any higher than 10th. Number 9, we've got Wildzee. So Wildzee I don't actually have any clips of because he doesn't... Because there's like a couple of junglers that just don't do anything. Like there's a select, like I'd say probably like in this whole category here, there's just some junglers that do nothing, and Wildzi's one of those do nothing junglers. As you can see, terrible, terrible stats for the early game. KDAs at best. Low gold per minute, low gold percentage, pretty high kill participation, so I'm glad he's playing around the team. But, like, for the most part, most of these stats are, like, very low, very weak. You know, his KDAs in these games have been mixed, to say the least. It just doesn't look good, right? Yeah, you would say that this does not look good. And I would agree. The only reason I have him higher than Spica is just because he's not wearing a pair of roller skates and rolling on down mid lane. I can't really say Wildzee is, doing terrible. I just think, I think he had his peak. His peak was Season 9 Summer, and he'll never reach that peak again. Alright, so number 8 jungler is going to be Broxa. Yeah, Broxa is just, he's just a do-nothing jungler. There's no other way to say it. The guy doesn't do anything. His stats are basically the same as Wildzee, except he's got a higher first blood participation. He's got a lower kill participation. I mean, his KDA is looking alright, but I mean, like, that's mostly because he's winning. But, like, if you want to talk about some Broxa stats, let me show you my favorite Broxa stat. Yeah, Broxa smash, yeah? Yeah, he smash. Smashes those jungle camps really good. And I mean, I don't know. It feels like most of the reason that Liquid isn't doing good is because Broxa is just this analogous slime monster in the jungle that doesn't do anything. Like, there have been some games that he was definitely a main reason they lost. Most of the reason they've ended up behind is because they just don't have a jungler. And I don't know what to say to that, because it's like, why are you playing these early game champs if you're never going to look for ways to get ahead? Why are you the jungler for Team Liquid, a team that has highly skilled mechanical players, and you're not helping your lanes? I don't get it. He doesn't do anything, as evident by Broxa smash. And the only reason he's higher than Wildzee is just because it's like, well, he's less of a detriment to his team. If the only thing that you're contributing to your team is hitting 50-50 smites, then eventually you're going to contribute nothing. Here's what it is. So our next jungler is Svenskeren. This is, luckily, the last of our do-nothing junglers. I mean, he's just a do-nothing jungler. I haven't seen him really do anything in any of his games. Even in the most recent game where they did really well, I still don't think he really contributed all that much. I think it was mostly Golden Glue and Bang and the rest of the squad. I don't think Sven contributes much. And I mean, statistically, like, Sven has been probably one of the worst performing junglers in the league. I mean, his stats are slightly better than Broxa and Wildzee, so that's why I have him ahead. But, I mean, he's just not doing anything. I mean, he's got the lowest KDA by far, I think, of all junglers. And he's just... Show me a play where Svenskeren is responsible for the winning that play. You can't find it. You cannot find it. And it's so weird because it's like, this guy's an MVP player. All he does is he comes in. I feel like he's actually like the dog jungler of the league. I feel like all he does is he just tries to get his laners ahead, and then that's it. Once that job's done, all right, good luck. My hands are removed from this. My hands are washed of this game. Like, dude, this isn't a church. This isn't, Jizuke is not Jesus. You're not putting him on the cross. Help him. Get Jizuke off the cross. Help your team after the 15-minute mark. Do something. All of these junglers need to do something because they're going to give me an aneurysm. Our next jungler is somebody who I actually think has been a bit surprising, and that is Dardoch. Dardoch is our 6th place. I think he's the baseline jungler for the league. Why do I say this? I don't have any fancy clips of Dardoch, unfortunately, but there isn't really all that much to show. Because the thing about Dardoch is that he's kind of always been this player that when he gets leads, he knows how to use them effectively, and he can play really well with a lead. You saw that in his game as Set versus Dig. You saw that in his game as Graves versus Immortals. Overall, he's just, when he has a lead, he does pretty well. It's just he struggles with sometimes creating that lead. But when he can create it, he does pretty well. He does good damage. He knows, he controls pretty well in team fights. I don't think he's very consistent at creating that lead, and I think that that's a big issue that holds back Dardoch from being higher. Because I think if he could consistently do that, he could be 5, maybe even 4th best jungler in the league. And maybe that has something to do with his laners. His laners are pretty weak. It's just, it definitely feels like there's something missing with Dardoch. There's some kind of like secret sauce, magic ingredient that's just missing. Maybe he just needs to do a line of Coke before every game. Maybe that'll help him. I think that could be the trick, just like that, and then you have Super Dardoch. All right, so I'm gonna kind of chill out a little bit for our next one, and that is going to be Xsmithy. I think Xsmithy is definitely, I think he's the above-average jungler of the league, and his stats aren't amazing. They're basically the exact same as Dardoch's. He doesn't have great early games. I can't really say that he's ever had an amazing early game. His champ pool's pretty, limited in what's been effective and what hasn't. But he's had some pretty... The stat that's kind of insane is his kill participation, being almost 80%. Like, Xsmithy has always been this jungler in my mind, at least as long as I've been watching, where it's like... He's kind of like the opposite of Dardoch, right? Here's what I mean. So, in this game versus CLG, I wouldn't say Xsmithy got, like, some insane, leads for his laners, but he got a good lead for himself. And something Xsmithy does that I don't think other junglers do well is Xsmithy knows how to play team fights incredibly, incredibly well. Like, his positioning, especially, like, on this Graves this game, was insane. So I think I'm a little far back, but it's okay. So they're taking Elder this game, or at least they're baiting to start it. CLG has to fight because it's Elder Dragon, and they're baiting it. Hakuo got Xsmithy's just staying on the jungle. That's fine. It's fine. So oh shoot, hold on, we're gonna back up. My bad, boys. Okay, so Hakuo gets hooked. They bait in Pobelter here. He dodges the wall. And now Pobelter's just here in this kind of really bad position because he got baited in, and now he's flashed in, and I don't know why he's walling this way. I think it must have been an accidental wall by Pobelter, but like now Xsmithy's in. He's going for the kill. He saw the positioning. Now Wiggly's in. He's able to, he does so much damage to Wiggly here. And then while Ruin's, on Apollo here, he's able to just knock him down. He's got this amazing, really good positioning to where, look, he didn't even take any damage that fight, and he was able to output so much for his team. And then, obviously, after that, they're able to get Elder. I don't think there's another jungler in the league that plays team fights this well, and it's really impressive what he's able to do in these team fights. I don't know. I don't know what more I can say. I think he's doing pretty good. He's doing really, really well. He's got good ganks. He sets up his team for success, and then he's also able to play in team fights at a level that I think even junglers that I have above him on the tier list can't do. So, good for you, Xmithy. I will continue to be your fanboy to the end. Alright, so number 4 is going to be El Contracto. Contracts. Good to see him back in the league. You know, got a lot of junglers that are pulled out from Academy that are doing pretty well. Contracts has been just, you know, doing alright. Yeah, I think you'd say this is a really good meta for Contracts. He's got similar stats to Xmithy, except, you know, higher gold difference and XP difference. And he's just been, I would say he's pretty much just been baby Blabber. And obviously he got the win over C9, so maybe you say, hey, maybe he's, you know, adult Blabber. But I think, like you can kind of look at these plays from the C9 game, and you can kind of see what I'm talking about. He's got, like, these above, you know, pretty good stats for the early game, and it shows, because, you know, he takes those early game stats, and then he comes into team fights, and he kind of just plays them like Blabber would. Like, okay, Blabber's going in, they're on Poom. As soon as they've used all these abilities on Poom, he goes in. He gets walled, and it's like, alright, next target. So he just starts hitting Blabber, or Licorice. Then, because Blabber had to flash out, they go on Blabber, and then they go on Vulcan, and they win that whole team fight because, you know, Poom got hit with a bunch of abilities, and then Contract's like, alright, we're going in. And I feel like that had to be his call, because, like, as soon as he starts going in, that's when you see, you know, they get Blabber to use ult, Licorice TP'd in. I think that was just really good positioning, because, like, they forced Blabber to ult on him where Licorice was teleporting to, which meant Licorice would be in there and would be forced to either flash out or die. And I think that was really good play by him, to be like, alright, we're going in now. And you can see that again right here in this play. So he's going up, he's going up, he's going up, and then he's like, I'm 2 levels ahead. Niski's low. Blabber's pretty low. I think he had an item advantage here as well. Yeah, he had a pretty huge item advantage over Blabber here. Blabber doesn't do any damage. So he just goes in, he just flashes, he just insta-murders Niski before he can even ult. And then from the ult from Cody-san, he just kills Blabber. And I think, like, woo, wow. You get this guy to get a lead in the early game, which he's, you know, pretty easy. He can do that pretty confidently. And he's able to see these fights where it's like, I'm going in. I'm in. I know I'm ahead. Let's fight it. So, because of that, I think that, you know, he's kind of like, if, again, a lot of these people put above Dark, it's like, it's because they can make these leads on their own. They get leads for their laners, and then as soon as they get the leads for their laners, they're like, alright, I know we're strong, let's fight. Good on you, Contracts. Glad to see you back in the league. Keep it up. Alright, so number 3 is going to be a guy who's different from the rest of these. It seems a bit more similar to Xmithy. Santorin. Santorin is a bit more of a glue man kind of jungler. And what I mean by that is, like, his stats aren't exactly the most impressive. He's usually behind in the early game. Yeah, but his KDAs are pretty good, actually. His gold performance pretty good. His kill percentage, like, all this stuff's pretty good. And it's like, well, how are you doing this good if you're, you know, getting behind in the early game this much? And you can see it in his play. He's just this kind of glue man jungler that FlyQuest needs. And what I mean by that is, he plays the team fights and does exactly what his team needs to do, even if it's not exactly perfect for him. And you can see that in this fight. So this fight they do without Santorin here, and you can kind of see the difference of the without Santorin versus with Santorin. So they go in for this fight, they go on gate, they're still going in on gate. Ignar has to, you know, do that. Now it's a 5v3, and it's like, whoa, why are you going in on this fight? So Solo, like, actually just straight up just dies. Like, this was like a bad fight for Fly to take, especially considering that it was going to be a 4v5 since Kindred just backed. So PoE goes in, doesn't kill Gate for whatever reason, and then it's like, oh, this fight's so doomed. This is such a doomed fight for Fly. Especially here, like, they knew Eika was here, and this happens, but Santorin is like, Blue Man comes in, hits the game-saving ult, and then they just get this amazing ult that just saves this fight. And yeah, they're just able to just play it. As soon as Santorin's here, it feels like the communication and the level of play just goes up insanely high for FlyQuest. And I think that's something only Santorin has proven himself being able to do. Like, I think Santorin is like the cog for the FlyQuest machine. Like, obviously, PoE is kind of the face with all of his high damage stats and everything there. But I think, like, the reason it works is the oil. And the oil in the machine is Santorin. So, pretty good. I think I value him pretty high because his ability to play out fights in ways that are kind of non-conventional towards being a selfish player, which most junglers are, and instead being more selfless for his team, I think is really good. And also his pathing is like actually insane. His pathing, his itemization, all of that I think is some of the best in the entire league. And he's playing a bit more of this kind of old man jungling, which he is not old by any means. I think he's still relatively young. But he's not necessarily going for these like selfish like 1v2 kind of plays. He's like, all right, I'm coming team, get ready, let's go. Pretty good. Good to see. All right, Closer. Closer is our number 2 jungler in the league. Kind of like how I have Contract so high because of his really impressive mechanical ability. I have Closer really high because of his impressive mechanical ability, except he's just out-jungling everybody. He's got a 75% ratio of being ahead at 15, which, I mean, that's kind of been Golden Guardian's thing, but it's because of Closer that they're able to do this. Closer has shown time and time again that he's able to do things that other junglers just can't, but they should be able to do, which I can show you right here. This play from Closer. This is something that, like, you know, Closer's already gotten Golden Guardian's elite at this point with 2 really good ganks. I think it was actually, yeah, I think it was 2. 2 really good ganks that he was able to pull off. I'm going to actually fast forward here because this is too far back. Okay. So they go in, they use the Herald here. This might even not be, I might not have went far enough with this. Okay, so Alarim goes in for this ult. The rest of the team is staying back. They're staying back. They're waiting. They're waiting. Damonte gets caught here. And since Damonte is caught, you know, they're just kind of playing back because they need to wait. Hanser uses the ult here for spacing. And then you see Closer. He's looking for something. They get Huhi because Huhi was mispositioned. And then off of that, Closer's able to get Alarim here. He's able to get Smithy. And he just created that play. Off of one little flank around. Yes, Huhi died for it. Maybe they even told Huhi to misposition. But he's able to clean that play up. He's able to take that misplay from Huhi. And he's able to flip it. And that's something a jungler needs to be able to do in the mid game. They need to be able to clean up for your teammates' mistakes, so that way the rest of your team can continue to carry. And I think that's something that's really good. He's able to just, he literally created that play from thin air. And that's something I think a lot of junglers just aren't seeing yet. And because of his high stats, his high mechanical ability, his ability to see these plays, you got to put him in number 2. And the only one I'm putting above him is the guy who does that more than him. And that is, of course, Blabber, the person who, at least in North America, created this whole play style of playing around your jungler. Yes, he has some int plays, as you can see from some of his games. He never has a perfect game. He always ints at least one death, as the Cloud9 players would say. But it ends up working out in the end anyway, because look at these guys' stats. He's like got almost double of everything Closer has. And I mean, yeah, his champ pool's pretty small, but you don't need a big champ pool to win games. He's got an insanely high gold percentage for a jungler. You know, stats, mechanics, all there. I don't have like a cool clip because you can literally just watch any of the Olaf games that he plays. You can watch some of the Lee Sin games. You can watch any of his games and you'll see what this guy's doing. He's just able to just play very, very well. He's good enough that the whole team can play around him. And they do, and that's why you put him in first for right now. There's potential that like Closer could actually elevate to be above Blabber. But I need more time to actually see. And I need Golden Guardians to play around him to facilitate him to become better. But right now, Blabber's getting that facilitation. Yes, he has the int plays, of course, but that's just, you know, being a high aggressive jungler, that just happens sometimes. So with that, I think that's going to call it for now. Leave a comment, like, maybe even a subscribe if you'd like. Follow me on my Twitter for my daily tweets. And catch me for tomorrow's videos, where I will be doing the mid lane tier list, and I will be doing the podcast rating where I believe the 10 teams are currently. All right, that's going to be it for now. Thank you for watching. Talk to you all later.